Hey guys, so I'm back with a mini video for a midweek kind of watch. So you guys absolutely loved the journaling and I've asked to see more of it, which has totally surprised me because I don't really practice art therapy or art for health and well-being anymore. But as the weeks and months go on, lots of people are asking me for it, so I may as well share my penny's worth. Not that it's very much, but I feel like you guys want to see it, so we're going to experiment and see how we get on with this video. So today I want to talk to you about the power of journaling and experimenting on paper. When us as artists or creatives or hobbyists, however you like to see yourself, when we get in a creative slump or, you know, that artist block and we just don't know what to do and we feel a failure. So I thought that would be a really helpful video. So that's where I'm going to start today. So sometimes being an artist or a creative feels like pure magic, doesn't it? It feels like your ideas are flowing and you can make and create without hesitation and everything feels really possible. But often, not often, but some other kind of times, it can feel like you're wading through quicksand. And I don't know if you're like me, but you can compare yourself to others in our community and it can very much become very overwhelming. Your ideas can feel flat. And every attempt that you do feels heavy, like you're just not getting anywhere. You're making a mess, and it can happen for days, weeks, months. And I have heard it happen for years too. Your spark can vanish, which can just be so devastating, especially in a world where we see everybody's work so readily available and easy to watch, and we kind of become our own worst critics. So if you're in that space right now, let me tell you something straight from the heart. I promise you, you are not alone. This happens to me all of the time. And I know it'll happen to everybody who's watching this video at some point, everybody in the comments at some point, and it is absolutely okay. Every artist, every maker, every creative goes through this. It's not a flaw, it is part of your journey. So I'm just going to do some exploring with my paints this morning and talk to you about that. So here's the thing that I come back to time and time again as an artist and somebody who's running a small creative business in the real world, I suppose. I am in the real world. I'm trying every day to succeed and do well. And it's tough out there, you know. And I think if I didn't have my journal and I didn't have opportunity to experiment on paper, I'd probably not be where I am now. It's as simple as that. I've got all the tools at my fingertips and they are what kind of get my creative thinking flowing. When you're stuck, it's easy to think that you need something new or shiny to get back in track. I don't know if any of you have fallen into this habit or into this risky area that to get creative you need to pick up a new craft and you need to go and buy all of the stuff related to that craft in order to get going. And it's a dopamine hit. It's how you feel like you're getting your creative slum back. But actually you've got to be very careful doing that. It can be very expensive, and the knock-on effect is at the end of it you'll have spent all this money on this new craft and you'd been set up with good ideas and you're going to do this, that and the other, and then you get overwhelmed and you don't do any of it, and all that stuff that you've spent money on then becomes a problem. You've wasted all that money, you're not using it, and the knock-on effect was way worse than when you started. And that can be a really valuable lesson, but also quite a detrimental lesson. So I'm going to use this video as a safe place to express ourselves today, so feel free to chat away in the comments, because your comments will help somebody else. There'll be somebody else also feeling like this. There's no rules, no judgment, just pure honest creation today, and I hope you like it. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this, because I am all for getting my brushes out. So at the moment I'm just mixing up some colours. I don't have a plan, but I know that I like the look of these colours together, so I'm going to just explore a bit more of those colours I think today. And that's what a journal gives you, really. You've got your canvas, your free piece of paper, your canvas where you can explore some colours. I can't draw for love nor money, and I don't pretend I can, but I love putting paper and water and paints together, my own little recipes of creation. So when you sit down with paper and allow yourself to be messy and emotional and unfinished, actually, all my projects are unfinished. You'll see that there's random pages that I've started in my book and never finished, and that's okay. I spend most of my life not finishing a project, and that is okay as well, because I've still got a valuable lesson or received a valuable lesson during that process. It doesn't matter if it's not finished. I learned from it, I experimented and got some good ideas from it. You're not just moving your hands, you're moving your heart. And in art therapy, it's the most natural way, using art to process, to soothe and to explore what's inside you without needing to explain it to anyone else. So you don't have to be trained in art therapy or in art to benefit and get therapy from art. Does that make sense? It probably doesn't, but go with it. So if you sit yourself down and take a moment to take in your surroundings, you'll see that I've got plants around me. You can't smell, but I've got a candle going. I've just set myself up for the most relaxing 20 minutes whilst I do this video. You'll see that I've got these always in my videos. I take a couple now and then from B&Q, hardware shops, you know, little colour swatches, paint swatches, just to give me some inspo. I've been inspired by these colours this morning, and you're going to see that they're going to start creeping into my work. I've got a thing for nature and greens, and as we're heading into spring, already in spring, those colours mean a lot to me. They make me happy. So I'm exploring colours that I'm naturally gravitating towards. Remember, this is our mess. This is our creativity. We can be emotional. We can be unfinished and do what we want to do. We're using art, a way to process and soothe, to explore what's inside of us when nobody else is around. I love that, you know? Remember, you don't need a perfect plan. We're simply doing what comes naturally to us. I am doing a series of swatches on my paper, and I'm going to let it devise and develop and implement a scene on the paper without even really trying to think about it. You don't have to be trained in therapy to benefit from this. You don't have to have a perfect plan. Just the willingness to explore and have a go. For me, journaling has been the big part of my life from a young age. I used it as a therapy when I was a child. I had not a normal upbringing. I had a poorly father, and my mum died when I was a baby, and you guys know about this, so I don't need to talk too much about it, but paint and art was very much what I used to express myself, and I didn't really know in those days that was what I was doing, but it became a big part of my life to kind of just put colour together and use colour as a symbolic way of being expressive on paper. I've never been able to draw. I've never really had the urge to want to draw. I've always been drawn to colour, and for me, experimenting makes me happy. It's kind of been the bridge between blocked feelings, feeling alive again, and having that heartbeat in everything that I do. And the paint enables me to kind of have that, you know? And that can be the same for you too. And when I start experimenting with colour on paper, new ideas come. Look at these colours together. As a small business owner, creativity isn't just nice to have. It's like the heartbeat of everything I do. So for me, when I suddenly feel a creative block, it can be very frustrating, and I can get a little bit on edge because I think, you know, I need to stay on top of my game. I need to feel like I'm not slacking, and it's a real hard task to feel like that all of the time, to come up with the goods, you know. There's a lot of pressure. But deadlines, the weight of always being first with new ideas, it's not a healthy thing. So this practice allows me to just ground myself, remind me that nobody really needs to feel my soul or feed my soul as much as I do in the enjoyment and happiness of life. When I journal and I splash colour across a page with no end goal in mind, I'm giving myself permission to say it's okay, just be yourself, Lou, for a little bit. Just be yourself with no goal in mind, no sales pitch, no product to deliver. It's kind of me connecting with my own creativity. And that in turn helps me spur new ideas. So it's swatches like this that I've shared and shown you before that kind of enable me to think of new colour collections. This to me is screaming autumn, an autumn colour palette. And I'm going to keep this and refer back to it because I think I'm going to use this with something in mind with a resin collection later on in the year. Here's a really important thing to remember as well, guys. This method of exploration, other than buying your first set of paints, doesn't really cost us anything. This kind of self-care is pretty accessible to a lot of us. So here's the thing. If you're feeling a bit stuck at the moment and you feel like you want to give it a go but you're not sure, start with this question. What do I need today? It's a random question, isn't it? But what do you need to achieve today? Have you got 10 minutes where you can sit yourself down in front of the television if you need some background noise, but if you can do it without noise, even better. Maybe you've got a little lap tray that you can work on your couch or your sofa. Maybe you've got 10 minutes away from the children. And just make some bold, angry colour suggestion. I've taken a lot of paint straight from the pans for this because I wanted bold and intense. But if you're feeling a bit dreamy and you want to just take some colours washed down, do that. The process isn't, and this is the most important thing about journaling, your process isn't about making something to frame. Even if you do end up as the end project something beautiful that you want to frame, that's fine. But that's not the idea of journaling. It's about making time for you to sit down, breathe, think, or not think, as it may be. Just put things on paper and distract your thoughts, because creativity isn't just about output, and this is so important. It's a form of self-care. If you are looking for arts and crafts to soothe your soul, it's about self-care. For me, it's about a conversation between you and the deepest parts of yourself. And it is exactly that. It's what makes you happy or makes you want to explore. I'm going to dry this off and come back. I'm also going to have a bit of a cough because hay fever is getting me bad today. So I'm going to go and do that, and then I'm going to come back. And this beautiful watercolour is going to look a lot lighter once I've dried it. And if you need some background encouragement, here are some books and some resources that I like to look at from time to time. I'm an avid book fan, and sometimes just a little bit of motivational reading is sometimes enough to help me. I'm thinking, what are we going to do with this? I don't know. Let's just go for it. Have a little look at this book though, guys, whilst I start to paint. Take some notes, because don't just hear it from me, hear it from other people. There's a book called Keep Going by Austin Kleon, and it's a great read, how illustrating and encouragement to stay creative and focused is true to help personal burnout and external distraction, if you like. He talks about every day is a groundhog day, yesterday's over, today is a new day, and it's quite a good book, so I'll put that on the screen for you to have a little look at. I'm not sure what we're doing here. I was thinking maybe some sort of rabbit or hare maybe now, because he's got giant ears. And that's okay, because it can evolve as we paint, you know, and if I don't like it, I shall scribble it out and go again. I tend to draw with my paintbrushes and then fill in the gaps. We'll do him sat up. I can't do legs and feet, so we're not going to do that. We'll get out of that somehow. Sometimes I like to pop an Audible book on when I'm journaling, or some music, some relaxing music. I've never been a classical fan, but when I paint and I've got classical music on, honestly, the music just washes over me. It reminds me that the struggle is part of the process. It's not a sign of failure, and everybody thinks that a creative block is a sign of failure, and they need to stop thinking that. It isn't. It's a journey. It's your journey. And just as in art therapy, whilst we make and tap into new feelings that words can't always reach, journaling becomes a tool of healing, you know, as well as creating. It reminds us that it's okay to not have any answers yet, and that's fine. It reminds us that it's okay just to explore and just to paint. When the words feel heavy and you feel frustrated and you're comparing yourself to other creatives, don't let your expectations weigh you down. Creating in your journal or on paper is like breathing underwater. It's a permission, it's a freedom, and it's your kind of hope, you know. I really am drawn to this indigo today, and that happens a lot for me. I'll be drawn to different colours on different days. I was going to do, maybe we'd best do a little bit of a foot to make him look a bit grounded. They have quite big feet, don't they? Who knows what we're doing here, but it's fun. I want him to have a bit of character, so I'm going to make his tummy a little bit bigger. I feel like we should make a moon around about here, so I'm going to use some ink. So if today feels particularly hard, maybe your ideas feel a bit distant, if you're second guessing whether you're even allowed to call yourself an artist right now, or you feel that you're not an artist for whatever reason, grab whatever you can find in your home to be creative, a pen and paper, and just show up in your journal for you and nobody else. Let's dry that off. Let's see if we can make a moon. So, as I come to the end of my little snippets worth, I hope it's helped you to remind you that we're all very much the same. These episodes make you stronger, more compassionate, and most importantly, more in tune with you and your heartbeat and your love for creativity. Every time you pick up that pen, that brush, that resin pot, that pot of glitter, every time you scribble on a scrap of paper, every time you allow yourself to experiment and get it wrong, or experiment and remember that it doesn't have to be good or amazing or excellent, you're choosing self-care by doing that. This is self-care. This is your journey, nobody else's journey. You're choosing you, and that is the most important thing out of all of this. You're doing this because you choose you. And more than ever, that makes you an artist. So stop those self-doubts, that self-sabotage, and remember, it doesn't matter if you can't draw or you don't know the history of Van Gogh. That doesn't make you any less of an artist. You are amazing. And this picture took a complete curveball, didn't it? And it looks wonderful. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next time. Do drop me a comment if you like the kind of art therapy videos, because I'll make more if I think that you guys like them. See you soon, and if you could just give me a little subscribe, honestly, that means the world to me. See you guys.